But what's the difference with the Russian boar?
I think they came from Russia.
That's literally it?
I think that's literally it. They just came from Russia.
Humans brought them to Hawaii, North America, Australia.
Dude, I think for the rest of my life, I'm going to be amazed at the power of a 16-inch trout, you know? Like, people like, go
It
around
doesn't
the
get
world
old.
to make a valid point. I've done that.
Which is fun.
And during the video, you take an extra 35, 45 minutes because you're redoing every take.
Yep.
You can take 30 minutes off your script, off your
Valid
video,
point,
if you write it down.
Good point.
Dude, I would try and like pick a day and then
I know, I'm just not on a schedule quite yet.
yeah, no, but like think about it, you know? Like don't just pick weekends are bad days to upload, Joe.
Yes. Yeah.
Unless it's like a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Then that's a good night to upload.
I'm also in the works of that pronghorn video, so I gotta keep that moving too. I don't want to just isolate one thing. I want to diversify. So, yeah.
Whenever it's ready, put it out though, you know? Like
I guess I'm trying to take on a lot right now. But I'm up for the challenge.
What's all in the works?
Podcasting. Obviously, we got the studio going. You guys might see a
that's
little bit of it.
This is a sick studio, dude. I kind of like the posters and stuff.
Yeah, it's all last minute. Rush helped me out, helped me set up some stuff, pick out some decor. It's looking good, man.
I like it a lot.
It's looking good.
You know, it's
got my grandpa in here in his old uniform, so that's pretty sweet. It means a lot. Means a lot. Yeah, let's do a little cheers.
A little cheers, eh?
Podcast number 2.
What are we drinking tonight?
We're started.
Some Drought Works?
The Pineapple Express Tropical IPA.
Where's it brewed?
Montana here. Somewhere in Montana. Let me find out. Missoula, Montana. Go Missoula. Go Missoula.
Zootown.
So
Grizz. Go Grizz.
Since we're talking about decor, I wanted to, I don't know, since we're talking about it, got this little guy. I haven't showed you this yet. Have you seen? So I found this last weekend hunting for sheds and found a big whitetail shed. Did I tell you about that? Big whitetail shed, by the way. So I'm focused on that this year. Anyway, so while I was hunting for sheds, I found this beaver skull, and I was debating on keeping it or not. And then as I was holding it, the tooth started falling out.
Here in Montana?
Yeah, like over by Grass Range.
Oh.
And like, I don't know, 20 miles from Grass Range, but over there. Started falling out. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I started pulling it out. Okay? Ready for this? I'm going to do this towards the camera. Ready? Isn't that freaking crazy?
It's a long time.
Look how far back that goes. It goes all the way back to there. In the skull, or into the bone. It's nuts. Blew me away when I saw that. But beavers, fascinating animals. So that's on the table here. Cool.
It's a rather large tooth, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, dude, people find sheds and stuff all the time. I can never seem to find a shed. Maybe it's just I don't know. I see a lot of people on Facebook doing shed hunts, and they find, you know, truckloads of sheds.
If you're going to public land, has time of the year is a big part of it. Time of the year, because they'll get picked out. People go shed hunting. Yeah. They're like, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Especially now, dogs. They're the antlers are cut up for dog toys now, dog treats, and there's a big business there, a big business. So people make a lot of money off of going and shed hunting. So.
I actually saw 2 Facebook posts today of people who buy sheds, and they were like, "We're not buying them this year."
Oh,
yeah, there's no market for them right now.
Yeah. That brings up the topic. COVID-19. We're in the middle of it still.
Corona.
We're about 2 weeks into some real, like, 1 week into real shutdown stuff, 2 weeks into really knowing what we're dealing. We don't know what we're dealing with, but more knowing that this is a real issue. You know, 2 weeks into it, How are you doing still? I mean, really not changing much, right? Still just editing videos.
I mean, so far today we got the word that Crooked Creek was postponed. The first leg of the Montana walleye circuit.
Yeah.
Postponed till August. That's no fun because, I mean, last year at Crooked Creek, the winner hauled in 73 pounds to win it.
Wow.
2-day total. 2-day, 10 fish total, 73 pounds for walleyes. You know, you're averaging 7-8 pounds of walleye, you know? And that's pretty crazy. That's just a hell of a bite, you know?
It's impressive.
And the Governor's Cup, they usually pull out, you know, I think the winning team this year was 82 pounds.
Whoa.
Which is a lot of weight, but...
2-day tournament?
Yeah.
How many hours is that?
I think
total?
Gov Cup is...
Does that mean that's...
I want to say Gov Cup's 3 or 4 days.
Is it like a 6-hour one day, 6-hour the second? Or is it
they
full
do
12-hour things?
What they do is like a 7 to 4 the first day, and then like a 7 to 2 the next day.
Okay, so like 8-hour, 6-hour roughly?
Yeah, there's like a 7 to 6 hour fish range, and then there's 2 flights generally. 2 to 3 flights, depending on if it's Canyon Ferry. You know, they got 200 boats at Canyon Ferry.
So hauling in 80 pounds of 90 pounds, you said?
I mean, 90 pounds is a lot. The Gov Cup weight this year, I think, was 83 pounds, and last year, the Crooked Creek weight for the Classic was 73 pounds, which is a lot. You know, I mean, when you think about it, like, not very many people get to go out and catch, you know, a 40-pound walleye bag, like, ever in their life. You know, to go out 2 days in a row and do it is pretty spectacular. But no, pretty much the spawn bite at Fort Peck is crazy. I mean, that's like world renowned. You know, that's a bite you want to be on.
Yeah.
And it sucks that it's pushed back later in the year because
it's amazing how
I was talking to my partner about it today, actually.
How hot Fort Peck is for not really having a lot of structure. It's kind of just like...
Oh, you'd be surprised at how much structure.
Is there a lot down there?
Oh, it's insane. It's insane.
Because it's a recently flooded lake. It's not like it's an established lake, you know?
One of the big things that made...
Which is the 5th largest land or man-made lake in the world.
Fort Peck?
It's the 5th, yeah. I heard that a couple days ago.
One of the things that made so much structure in the lake is... like back in the 90s and early 2000s, there was a real big low water like decade there. So the water was like 30 to 45 feet lower than usual for like, you know, 8-9 years. Mm-hmm. And so the salt cedars all grew, right? Right on the bank, you know, 30 feet down for, you know, almost a decade. And plants grew, you know, driftwood would drift up there, obviously, on the shoreline.
When the water comes back up, does that get rid of that plant life, or does it grow through the water? I'm not that familiar.
It actually does somewhat grow once it's flooded, but once it's flooded, like, there's a whole, you know, brand new tree line that's flooded, you know. So when that water comes up 30 feet, you know, those fish are going to push up way shallow into brand new structure. And there's just so much structure in that lake. Yeah, there's lots of structure in Fort Peck.
Cool.
An absurd amount.
Good to know.
Rocks, trees, salt cedars, yeah. It's not too hard to find some structure in that lake. Hard bottom, soft bottom, grass. Yeah, it's all there. All of it.
Fort Peck.
Place is crazy. It's a majestic fishery.
I don't know if I'm ever going to beat that rainbow I caught out there, man.
Never say never, man.
7.5 pounds.
Never say never.
It's a lot, though. I can't wait to see Nick's 10.5 pounder on the wall. Oh, God, that's a big fish.
At Fort Peck? Caught it at Fort Peck?
Yeah.
See, they were catching some... Dude, Fort Peck, it's just...
It's insane.
It's one of those fisheries
where... It's insane.
You know, you can catch, like... I don't know, man. Even for, like, really any species that's in that lake, you're going to find a state record chance.
You can.
You know, like
it's in there.
There's
state records in there.
There's not very many bodies of water where you can just like walk to the shore.
You always hear these state records, like this podunk pond somewhere. You know, like, I've never even heard of this place, and you have the state record out of there.
It's kind of like the world record smallmouth bass. The top 3 fish came from the same pond in Kentucky.
Really?
Isn't that a? Is
that stocked?
Yeah.
Like a they're farming these.
Yeah, it's like a small stuff. It's not a farm.
Or ranching them, I guess.
It's not one of the. It's just like a little farm pond, that they would stock. And I think the top two
farm,
fish.
But wouldn't that be plant?
It's just like Uncle Billy's farm pond,
It's a ranch. I'm stupid.
It's like a little.
Is a ranch a crop or is a farm crop? I thought farming was cropping, and a ranch was animals. Oh, whatever.
I'm sure they both need water, so they would both have ponds. It doesn't
matter.
Little farm pond, even like in Montana, little farm ponds are everywhere.
Yeah.
You just kind of like, no, that's a smaller pond area. But yeah, they just stock them with fish and then they grow massive.
I was looking on Google Earth trying to find some mountain ponds, lakes, and stuff that I could hike up to and do some fishing, some deep mountain fishing. And I was thinking, how do they have big fish up in here? How do they have fish even up in here? And not 2 days later, like a day ago, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how they get fish up into these lakes. They helicopter them up and have them in buckets and drop them in there. I didn't know that. Like they fight fires.
Yeah.
They do that with fish, I guess.
See,
that's kind of cool. They did that with beavers. In the Idaho wilderness, I cannot think of it. I just heard of it the other day. I'm so sorry. Like, how Idaho has has that small portion and then it gets to that big mass at the bottom. Like, dead center of that mass. Beautiful, beautiful area there. Kind of like the Beartooth, lakes everywhere, gorgeous scenery. They dropped in some beavers because they got eradicated back when they had the fur trade, the wipe. Yeah, so they dropped in some beavers and they're doing strong. They're going strong right now. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I was listening to, I don't think it was a podcast, but it was a video done by, I can't remember his channel, but it's a Montana channel, and he was talking about how the lake trout got to Montana because the lake trout is a native Montanan species,
Mm-hmm.
It's scheduled as a native Montanan.
And the rainbows are not the one we were just
Rainbows are
talking about.
not a native.
They're not, but they're loved. They're
loved,
native.
but they're the cheapest to stock by
for
fish
sure.
wildlife.
100%.
So that's one of those things.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how the lake trout. He was talking about the difference between the lake trout and Dolly Varden in the species. Also about how they got to like Idaho, Canada, and Montana, because the lake trout originated in like California. You know what I'm saying?
When we were first coming across.
Well, that's where they first came from.
Because when does this all start? Native. When does that native word start? Is that when Lewis and Clark was coming across, or is that just as long as we can look back in history?
No, they came in. I'm not quite sure which.
Are we looking at fossil records?
No, it's fossil records. It's like the Paleocene era.
Never heard.
It's like 150,200 years ago.
Never heard.
Or 150,000, 200,000 years ago. So somewhere in there, they came from the ocean. They got to California. That's where their main areas where they came from, right?
Right.
And then they ended up swimming up the river. And this is when like all of Montana was flooded with water, right? Where there was huge glaciers.
Like
and stuff.
A lot of it, half of it was, and half of it was swamp.
Yeah. So it was a long time ago where there was like the majority of the world was underwater, right? So the fish made it up into those mountain areas where there was masses of water, and then once they got there, the water receded, and it turned into an ice age, and it ended up freezing the lakes, like Lake McDonald, all of Glacier National Park, all of those lakes were completely frozen. Even like Lake Missoula, right?
Yep. Which was huge.
You were talking about that a long time ago, right?
We could talk about that for a while, man.
So I
love that topic.
There's like lake trout that made it all the way to the mountains. The ice age came, the water receded, and it locked the fish in. Mm-hmm. That's how they got there, right? Because like you would think, how do fish get to like Lake McDonald? Like there's no way, you know. They got there before the ice age.
Way before the ice age. That makes sense because I was thinking when you were saying that, you said they came from the ocean. I was like, well, wasn't the ocean lower? But if it was before that whole, before the ice age, that means the water was probably high.
And
at
I'm
that
not sure
point,
if there was a real
high
issue.
enough that it was maybe even higher than we are now.
Exactly.
To where it wasn't like they were going up a river. It was just straight water, and then the water receded, and they were in these little lakes now.
And I'm not sure if there was a big difference between saltwater and freshwater back then.
Right, exactly. Well, there was,
but I'm not quite sure if there was that extreme of a difference.
Exactly. Well, there was less fresh water. I think
it was probably mixed in.
I think there was less.
Yeah.
I think the land's kind of well, I don't know. Hard to say. I'm not
it's hard to call,
a geologist. I'm not an archaeologist. I'm not any of these things. I'm sitting in my basement right now.
Yeah.
I don't know crap.
It was a very fascinating conversation because it's like that's a crazy thing.
You know? I love your sweatshirt, by the way.
Yeah, this
is so cool.
Shout out my aunt and uncle, Jeannie and Rich. They got that for me.
Oh, I was like, that's our company? Where'd you meet one, bro?
But yeah,
what company is that?
I
really like that.
We'll link that podcast that I was talking about in the link below because it's a very interesting topic. I'm not quite sure what brand. I'm not even sure what brand this is.
Yeah.
It's a 600. Everyone comments on it.
I kind of want to. The reason I bring it up though is I'm kind of looking into doing a logo right now, and I kind of want to do like a camp with some sort of logo like that, with like a mountain scene of some sort.
Are you trying to like draw it yourself?
I think I'm gonna hire a buddy of mine to do it. He's really good.
I would just go to Fiverr.
Could do something like that too.
That's quickest and easiest. You'll have 3 days. You'll have 5 copies in 3 days.
I kind of want to get my buddy in on helping me out on doing some stuff. He does graphic design.
Yeah.
So I want to see if like once I get things going and get an establishment, then maybe see if he would want to jump on board with doing like thumbnails and that kind of stuff. Then I'm taking on too much shit, man. I can't be doing it all the entire time.
Yeah, no.
So I'm gonna have to delegate out.
It's nice to be able to like figure it out though, you know.
Yes, I'm gonna need to know how to do it. So I know what I want and what I like, you know.
Thumbnails are tough. It's taking
They're fucking tough. I didn't think they was gonna be that tough, man.
Well,
because they need to be a certain size too, and you can't like go all out with adding all this stuff to it. You need to help me with that. Like, how do you zip this down into a certain size? Because I was having a problem with that.
I've kind of figured it out. I got a quick way to do it.
You're gonna have to help
I've been really working on my thumbnails lately too. Like, you just gotta. It's kind of. You spend all this time on a video, right? You spend all this time. And then it comes down to this. And then you make a thumbnail that nobody clicks on.
Exactly.
None of it's even worth
exactly.
So,
it all comes down to the thumbnail.
You don't want to make a clickbaity title, or a thumbnail, but you gotta get.
You gotta.
And I've seen huge differences, you know,
mm-hmm.
In just video performance.
Color, just something to go. What is that?
Or just something. I mean,
something.
Just put a little effort into your thumbnail, and it goes a long ways, you know.
Like you said, having and this was. I didn't create this one. It was one of the natural YouTube ones that they come up with. That pronghorn video had my niece Ashlyn in it, and you're like, that's gonna be the one that has the most views. And sure, it's up there. It's definitely up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a girl, a blonde one.
It's the way it is.
That's the way it is, dude. Like,
it's the way it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some people. There's some like those van life people who will have, their girlfriend just take all the thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
It's just her in like a bikini in every thumbnail.
Yeah.
I'm clicking on it. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
You just gotta learn. You know.
There's
just gotta
figure
it out.
There's a reason people watch them.
Well, there's a reason. Yeah.
There's content. They obviously know what they're doing, and the clickbait.
Oh yeah.
A lot of it's clickbait.
A lot of it's just knowing too. Like if you listen to all the top YouTubers, they'll be like, yeah, thumbnails are where it's at. Like you have to spend 35, 45, 2 hours on a thumbnail.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why I want to hire somebody that knows what they're doing, or could spend all their time on that right there, helping out with just catching the eye of the audience.
See, and a lot of big YouTubers
dope.
Make
Jason,
their thumbnail.
I'm coming to you.
They make their thumbnail before they even make the video.
Yeah. As like I've watched some gamers as they're going along, and they'll be like, "Ooh, stop, game, we're pausing." Thumbnail time, I'm looking for the best view as they're gaming, you know? Zombies are running around them. They're like, hold on.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, once you make, 8,500 videos, you're like, well, maybe I should think about thumbnails now, you know?
Yeah. And I'm like 7 in, and I was thinking about it the first one. Did that 10 ways to get a YouTube page going.
Dude, so you
That was so funny.
Yeah, you just gotta
content. It's funny.
Yeah. It's a crazy world.
So I think we're about ready for another beer and another topic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about pigs.
Piglet.
Let's talk about pigs.
Piglet.
So we have a really interesting thing here in Montana that might happen soon. Soon as in within the next 20 years, I'd say.
I would say 3 or 4 years.
That quick? That quick?
Max. Dude, they're in Wyoming.
They're in North Dakota. We're talking about wild pigs here. Swine. All pigs, all captive pigs, all wild pigs.
We're talking about feral pigs.
Feral pigs. They're all part of the same. They're all pigs. They're all the same. They're just one's wild and one's domestic, which is very interesting that they change so drastically.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same now. Anyways.
And what's funny is that I was listening to a Ted Nugent podcast.
Who goes out in helicopters these days.
And he was talking about the Russian boar and why they're named the Russian boar.
Why? I don't know.
It's
because it's all the same, right?
They're all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Like
just different areas of the world and different lifestyle.
Yeah.
But what's the difference with the Russian boar?
I think they came from Russia.
That's literally it?
I think that's literally it. They just came from Russia.
Humans brought them to Hawaii, North America, Australia, I think New Zealand.
Yeah, and there's
a whole bunch of places.
They destroy a bunch
humans
of stuff.
brought them.
Yeah.
Humans brought them to these places. Think of Hawaii. And New Zealand. They're very interesting places. A lot of their animals, big animals, large animals, are brought there.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Kind of the same way with Australia to a point. I mean, they have kangaroos, some dogs and stuff, but like they have wild cattle. Their wild cattle there are the meanest animals.
You know, some of the mountain cows here in America are dangerous.
They're dangerous.
You get on the wrong side, they will eat you right up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm scared of them. I go hiking with them sometimes, and it's like
I can't remember where I heard this,
but a batch of mountain cows, and it's like run.
I heard somewhere where like when you're out, because I've dealt with a lot of mountain cows hunting and stuff. That's where I like to go hunting, is getting out of the truck and walking up into the mountains, you know, way up in the top. And there's always cows up there, or at the foothills, you know, as you're going up.
Yeah.
And I heard somewhere, it might have been my dad, I can't remember, they said, and maybe this isn't true, but I've always taken it as good advice, is it's kind of like mountain cows are kind of like dealing with black bears. You never know what one's just going to be pissed off. Fuck with you.
I mean, at the same time,
a lot of times black bears just run from you, man. Black bears will just run. Grizzly bears, different topic.
Granted, they're still cows, so
cows are cows, and even if it's pissed off, you could probably get away from it. Bear, you got to
give it.
But I'm talking about like the ratio in like mountain cows attacking you and black bears attacking you.
Yeah. I mean, I would much rather be scared of
100%, there's no facts behind any of this. But I've always like thought of it like, don't fuck with the cows.
Yeah.
You know? It's probably a good thing to do. I don't know.
I mean,
think of it.
If you're walking around the mountains, I think anyone could probably attest to this. If you're walking around the mountains with a heightened sense of like alertness, and you see 15 mountain cows, you're gonna be naturally like, ooh, there's some animals right over there. Like,
okay?
you're gonna jump into like your hunter mode, you know, like
immediately, and then
how
you're
do I
like,
deal with these, you know?
Just cows, and
then
then
like,
now how do I get around them?
I'm gonna assess these cows. You know, like I don't know. But
there's also, you don't want, cows will get spooked up there at the mountains. They're not used to humans as much, so they'll spook a little bit if you are sneaking through the woods.
But see, here's the thing: every year,
so you don't want to spook them through. But if you're sneaking through and you come up about 20 yards and all of a sudden the cow and you see each other at the same time, cow might spook, and then all of a sudden you get a little bit of like 20 of them running through the trees. I've had deer run off from doing that.
Yeah.
I've had deer run off.
They'll spook if there's other animals.
Luckily, I've never, that I know of, had anything big run away from me, but I've also learned a lot lately of animals know you're there a lot more than you think, man. Especially birds. Like when you're hunting a pheasant hunting, I've seen a lot of video now of where they have, I don't know if this was illegal. I think they were using drones though, but maybe they weren't hunting. I don't know. Of where they have birds, and they have this on. They've tagged pheasants and tracked where they went through the grass while hunters were trying to get them, and as the birds will give them like a 50-yard buffer and always just stay ahead of them running in the grass, and the hunter will never even know it's there. Never even know it's there, and it'll just like run ahead of them and then duck off to the side and go hide over here as it just goes by. That's where dogs come in handy, because they'll that's when they catch that scent. But I think deer do that a lot more than you think too.
Every deer does that.
Mule deer do it a lot. Bigger ones, that's the reason they're big, obviously. But
well, that's just, it's the logical way to get away from something. Run away from it and then immediately
do some
around.
sort of 90 and then duck, because
duck and come back around.
I can't tell you how many times. I think that was a battery, so just I don't know how long we
press
have.
The shutter button. It just has a 30-minute record time.
Is it done?
Yeah, there you go.
It's off?
No, it just, that's the record.
Gotcha. Started over. Okay.
That one's unlimited.
I've seen a lot of, like, my brother's killed. I've killed one that ran right. My brother killed one that literally was running right at him. He got spooked from somewhere else and was running right at him full bore. Wasn't like trying to kill him. Yeah. He was running away from something. And I think that's a problem sometimes. A lot of times you'll want, if there's a big buck, they'll go and run a little bit and then duck and hide somewhere. And I think that's the safest move a lot of times. People are dumb. Well, they don't know how to react.
When you're being chased, it's different, you know? Like, you develop like, oh, I'm being chased and I'm getting away. This is the best way. This is the most natural way to do it.
I think with a deer,
because they observe other things doing it to them too.
I think with the deer, it starts really young doing one thing, and it gets big. A lot of the times, the big ones are the ones that are ducking and hiding somewhere. You notice a lot of the times. I don't know, man. I hear that a lot. I've never heard of a young buck doing that, and I think the big ones I don't know.
Every deer that I've really ever encountered.
If anybody knows, I want to know about this.
Never really seen a deer just run straight away from me, you know? They always run straight and then they back around. Because whenever they turn, they're coming back around you. Every animal. It's because wind. They're gonna spook with the wind or against the wind so they can tell where they're going, right? That's how they know where they can kind of go, right? Because they can smell downwind. So they're going to spook like a downwind scent, and then they're going to follow that upwind and back around. Because if they can't see it, they want to smell it.
If they can't see it.
You know, and especially if they get spooked, you know.
If you spook them, I've noticed the majority of the time they'll take the quickest route out to get out of sight from where they know that danger.
And then it's an immediate turn.
And then they immediately do something.
And then they just head out.
Yeah. But the quickest way to get over the hill and away from the danger over here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not like they're stupid. They know when they're out of sight, and then
does are a lot smarter than you think, because a lot of times people are hunting bucks, so does kind of learn how to get. I don't know. Maybe they don't though. Maybe they're dumber.
If you spook a 6-point bull at 6 yards, 30 feet away, he's gone. If he breaks into the timber, he's gone.
It's amazing how
you hear a crash and then
it goes silent.
Silent and then nothing.
It goes literally silent.
That's an amazing thing.
It's amazing how big they are.
Like, where did they go?
And how quiet they can be. Bears, man. I've never done this. I want to do this so bad, but I've seen video where they're in a tree stand and bears are sneaking up, and all of a sudden they're fucking right there. Bears right under. Oh shit, Jesus! How are they so quiet? They're crazy animals, bears. So pigs.
Piglets.
Pigs. They're coming to Montana.
They should.
And this might excite some people because, woo, we get to hunt some pigs, right? Montana already has laws that, and I'm actually not discouraged about this. I'm kind of talking like I am, but Montana already has laws that says that there is no hunting on pigs. The problem is, it's proven that, I think we've already kind of talked about this a little bit, but it's proven that hunters are not good at eradicating pigs. They're just not. They're not. So I think Montana is following suit with some other states that have pigs where they're not hunting them, and they're actually better. They're eradicating them on a higher level than states like Texas, where pigs actually have a value. You know, they're hunted, so they have a value. Was that my phone?
Yeah.
Did it quit? There we go. Good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Must have a timer on it.
I don't know.
Well, pigs in Texas have a value because they are hunted. They can be hunted. So there's a reason to not get rid of them. So what's your thoughts on pigs coming into Montana? Do you want them here or not? Wild boars. We're not talking about domestic
They can
pigs.
taste real good, dude.
Yeah, but you got to look at the implication of if they come, yes, you have more meat.
It's
we have a ton of meat already.
When, you know.
Right. When they come.
Hey,
And
I'll shoot a 250-pound hog.
If we keep them here.
You know.
Because Montana's different than any other state. Like, North Dakota's going to do their thing. Wyoming's going to do their thing. Montana's going to do our thing. Are we going to try to eradicate them? Or are we going to welcome them?
I mean, I can see them putting them right in the
Do you know what pigs do?
They destroy.
Absolutely destroy. They root up everything, man. They kill ground nesting birds. They destroy everything on the ground. Everything. Crops. Crops are gone. I mean, not gone, but some crops are gone. And they'll move. This year they'll be on this crop. They'll move over here. And then they'll move.
I don't know.
They're devastating animals. And once they get out of control, there's no stopping them.
I mean, I can see just bullets flying.
But
it'd be an open season.
They're in Texas
all year long.
Texas, man, they let bullets fly, man. It's Texas. They're a different country.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you gotta go about them.
They go around helicoptering those things. They go around trapping them and killing them by the dozens, and they still have a massive
Well, they got piglets.
problem.
They got little pig litters of 18, 19.
Dude, I think it's a big problem.
I think they have litters all year long.
I don't want pigs in Montana.
I mean, I don't know what you're gonna do about them. It's like having wolves here.
Wolves are a way different topic. It's a way different topic.
You're not gonna. I guess you get rid of wolves, but yeah, I don't know. They're coming.
Yeah,
they're probably already here.
It's like
having time, but I'm sure they're already here.
It's like carp. Carp just took over when they got introduced, man. Carp took over.
The common carp.
The python down in Florida, they're taking over. It's a problem, and the landscape in 100 years is going to be pythons, pigs, and carp. That's what we're going to have.
I don't know. There's a lot of carp.
There's a ton of carp. Ton of carp.
Just because no one fishes for them, you know? Like, you go to lake, catch 15 walleyes, no carp.
Yeah.
Like, fishermen aren't, targeting 30 carp a day, you know?
No, none of them. Nobody is. Nobody is.
Unless you're going to Yellowtail and getting them by the fly, which is a riot.
What do you think about whitefish? They garbage fish?
I mean, they fight good. Not a huge fan of them. Squawfish? I don't know.
Did you know over in...
When you're not catching any trout, they're fun to catch.
I think it's Europe. They're a prized fish. Massive
carp prized fish.
I think over in Michigan, they're a prized fish.
Well, they're prized fish all over the northern.
Just not Montana?
No, in Montana they are, yeah.
Are they? I've always heard of shiners and whitefish. Throw them on the bank.
Well, those are different.
I know. I'm saying throw them both on the bank.
I mean, it's a trash fish, but
and carp,
you can eat
same
it
thing.
though.
I heard whitefish is amazing. Yeah. All right. Anyways.
Yeah. No. I mean, I don't know. It's whitefish.
I like your face. Like, oh.
They're probably, I don't know. It's a sucker. But yeah, no, when you're not catching any trout, you catch whitefish.
A lot of them.
It's like when you're on the Yellowstone on a 95-degree summer day or a 100-degree day, you're not going to be catching anything else but shiners.
A lot of shiners.
Or if you take someone out to the river who doesn't know what they're doing, give them a little blue fox spinner, cast that sumbitch out there, and you be catching shiners all day.
And they're happy as a clam.
I got another one.
And they're like, big fish like this, man.
And you're just ripping shiners out the water left and right.
Good 12-inch, 18-inch shiners, and
it's
they're like,
if you want to catch shiners,
all right, buddy,
go. I mean,
do your thing.
I catch shiners all day.
But why is that not I'll go up to a mountain creek and catch a little tiny 6-inch brook and be as happy as can be. But I catch a 12-inch shiner, I'm like, get the fuck off my line.
Dude, see, and that's how like people
what's that about?
All over the world come to Montana to catch a 6-inch brook trout.
Exactly.
Or brown trout.
Exactly,
you know?
man.
The 12-inch wild brown trout of Montana. There's so many pictures on
so many.
I came from Pennsylvania.
So
I came from
many.
Michigan, New York, just to catch a 12-inch brown trout.
And you could hold it in one hand. I mean, they're doing it two-handed, but I mean,
they want to catch that 12 to 16-inch trout,
which
like,
is just a typical trout. Which is a typical trout out at the Bighorn. That's just typical.
Yeah, but see, like they don't see that. They don't
Right.
get to like see that. You know,
Right.
they have like small little like, you know, stock trout creeks. You know, to be able to catch an actual wild trout, it's like whoa, I caught one. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like
Yeah.
driving to New York and doing the whole salmon thing with Douglas and.
That's a different thing.
Just
man.
to hear, well, no, you just be like, I'm from Montana, and they're like, oh, you know, like you leave.
But in reality, you're standing next to a river that has 20-pound salmon.
Yeah,
floating down it, and they're like,
6
"You're from
pound
Montana?
smalls and-
You're from Montana.
yeah, but they don't have the trout. I mean, they have massive trout, but
I guess we have the salmon too. It's just a little bit different.
it's much different. Yeah,
A little different.
yeah. No, you tell someone you're from Montana, and they go, "What'd you just say? Did you say Did you utter the words Montana?"
You say Montucky?
Okay, now I'm shutting up for my conversation, and now I'm listening to you
Yeah.
because you said you're Montana.
It's funny how that works. Dude, we're just from Montana.
Dude, you go to Wyoming, and they go, "You're from Montana?"
That's funny.
You know.
That's
But like
funny.
you go to like Colorado and they really go, "You're from Montana? Oh, tell me more." You know, I was in Telluride, Colorado, and I was like in flip flops and a Walmart T-shirt, and I was like, "I'm from Montana," and they were like, "Whoa, what?" You know, like it's just crazy.
You're like the lost tribe.
You just say you're from Montana. It doesn't matter where you're from. I'm from Montana.
I think my brother
What?
might have been bullshitting me,
Mhm.
maybe not. I don't know. He was down in Florida when he was in high school, so he's 6 years older than me. This would have probably been like 01,
Yeah.
something like that. He was down in Florida on a trip, and he mentioned he was from Montana, and the people were like, "Do you still ride horses and buggies up there?" You know,
yeah.
like people literally thought that.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if that was true or not,
No,
but I
100%,
think it
dude.
was. I really do think there might be still people that think Montana rides horses.
Dude, I was with Tyler Collins, and we're having martini hour up at the Barclays private mansion in New York, and they're referring to like, I don't know, the western half of the United States as out west.
Out west.
You know,
The
like
Wild West.
we've never been out west.
The Wild,
You know,
Wild West.
And like I knew what they were saying. Like anybody
Yeah.
listening would know what they were saying.
No, I get it.
But it's like the way they referred to it, it was like I envisioned
And
myself
anybody
like,
else, like somebody from California, somebody else would be like, "Oh shit, the West."
I just envisioned myself like, you know, 1910, you know, like I've never been out west, you know. Like that's what it sounded like, you know. Their eyes were huge, like, oh, we want to send our kids out west.
Yeah, right.
It's like
You're
Yeah.
not gonna. It's not gonna be much.
it ain't much different,
It's
you know. We got
really
mountains,
not.
obviously, but
We have Costco. We
It,
have Walmart. Guess what? We have internet and we have access to Amazon.
it's everything there. Man.
We drive cars.
But yeah, you tell someone you're from Montana, and it's like
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
whatever. Now I'm listening to you.
So let's
And
yeah, no, what's up?
dude, I think for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be amazed at the power of a 16-inch trout. You know, like people like go
It
around
doesn't
the
get
world.
old.
They catch GTs on the fly. They catch bonefish on the fly. They catch, Chinook salmon on the fly, wild salmon in Alaska on the fly, steelhead. But you give someone the chance to catch a wild 16-inch brown trout, they're like, yes, please. Like that's on the top list for most people.
And it's funny, man. Like,
And to do it in Montana.
I'm trying to break
fucking Tana.
I'm trying to break that 20-inch for like the 5th time. Like I've caught so many 16-inch brown trout and rainbow trout. Maybe less rainbow. Granted that for sure, and a couple cutthroat, dude. I've caught some fucking cutthroat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get old.
No.
It doesn't get old at all.
When you drive across the country to catch a fish, like the first time I hooked up on a fish in New York, the king salmon, the behemoth of all of them. The first time I did it, I was like, ho 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 ho.
Here it is.
This is
Here
crazy.
it is.
I drove across the country to catch a fish.
A lot of hype behind
and I
that.
touched one.
Yeah.
And it would be the same feeling for someone looking on their 3-weight fly rod. Oh,
because it's the hype.
I just touched my first rising
It's you
rainbow.
sitting at home for hours, months, sitting there going, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, and then you fucking do it.
And
You get your fucking Montana tag. You start researching. You get your guide. You start talking.
Don't
to
even get a guide.
Maybe don't even get a guide, but you have to like set up your trip. And you're setting up your trip. You get your boat. You're talking to people. You're getting your flies. Everything's ready. And then you have to drive there or fly there, and you're itching to get on that water, and you finally get on the water. 20 casts later, oh, you had one hit.
Yep.
Here it is, baby. Like
it's on.
It keeps you pumped.
But
this is months of buildup for one fish. Doesn't matter what fish.
And then you got the hype of just Montana.
It's the hype.
You got the scenery. You got mountains you've never seen before. You got trees you've never seen before.
Man,
you got
Montana, baby.
You got the big sky, and it's kind of funny. Like once you like cross into Montana, you go, oh, this is some big sky shit right here.
Montana, Wyoming, Idaho.
No.
It's all the same.
Once you get into Montana, it's like this is different. Like you can drive through South Dakota and be like, oh, this is definitely not Montana. You can drive through North Dakota and go, this is not Montana.
But you have to admit, a lot of Wyoming, a lot of Idaho, and a lot of Montana are about the same. Yeah. That area is just go there.
Like the Bozeman area, like the Salmon Chalice area in Missoula. It all pretty much looks the same.
Oh my gosh.
Idaho's gorgeous. Idaho is gorgeous.
Idaho, it's that long lost. Let's not talk about Idaho because I don't want people to move there. Because I might move there at one point, man. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's cool. Idaho's amazing.
I would live in the Cash Bar campground.
Idaho and Montana. Is that open?
Nope.
Thingy. Chili.
I got shorts on, Playboy. You got to get going. You got to feel the hype.
I brought up earlier, I don't know if I've given you enough time to think about this, but how do you think this whole COVID event is going to affect the fishing season? Are people going to be out fishing as much? Maybe the fish are going to be bigger next year, a lot more of them next year. Next year might be a hot fishing season because not as many people are fishing this year. Is that a thing, do you think?
I mean,
I literally thought of this today, so I haven't thought this through at all.
This is a conversation I was listening to on like the Montana ice fishing forums, right? There was a big discussion on fishing perch at Holter this year. And during the ice season, I mean, there's like thousands of people that go fish strictly perch at Holter. Mm-hmm. And this year there was maybe 2.5, 3 weeks ice, like doable ice. Maybe a month and a half ice, right?
The season might do that too.
So the ice season at Holter was almost non-existent.
So that would mean a lot more food in the water.
Well, it just means the amount of fishing pressure. Like if you don't have, if throughout the season,
two things. I mean,
you have 100 anglers not taking their limit of perch.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
a lot more fish in the water.
1,000 perch that are still swimming around.
Plus, if the water's not covered with ice, then there's food dropping in there. With warmer weather, the insects are probably out longer, dropping into the water, feeding the fish. Algae plants are growing a little
Yeah.
bit more. They might be bigger this year. It might be a really
Well,
good season for
mean,
fishing.
Simply the fact that they're not being pulled out by fishermen, that is going to attribute to
Because the winter this year was mild.
keeping that school class intact more, right?
Yeah.
Like every year there's a class of fish that move through like the picking order, right? Like if you're a 15-inch walleye to an 18-inch walleye, the chances of you being kept are very high. But if you're like a 24-inch walleye, you might get let go.
Yeah.
If you're a 12-inch walleye, you're obviously getting let go, So every year there's that year class that just gets skimmed up,
Yeah.
This year, between the walleyes, the perch, the crappies, the bluegills, that school of fish or that class year of fish is going to remain a little more intact. Just because of the fact that the fishing pressure wasn't there.
Right.
And in the spring, we see Bullock with these stay-at-home orders. And all that's doing, people are still going out and fishing.
But not as much. Not as much, man. You got to admit.
No, they're not, obviously, but they still are.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
But there's not going to be the number of people out there.
I would say that the people, there might be more.
There very well could, and that's the thing, like bank fishing.
There might be more. There's a lot more people just chilling.
I've been hearing points or reports of just the river being loaded with fishermen, which is not a horrible thing. But
it depends on if people are keeping their promise by taking their limit and only their limit. Granted, a lot of people don't, man.
I would probably argue
maybe not a lot. Some people don't.
The quality of fishermen, there's a bunch of novices just going out there and casting a line. And granted, they catch a lot of fish, but it's not like they're catching their limit every day.
No.
But what I'm kind of talking about is the hardcore fishermen being deterred from going for a week or so, and not catching those 50 fish. And then you take that same fisherman times 100. Well, then there's going to be a slight impact, a positive impact for the fish growth, the fish population and such. But I also think that, it's not stopping me from fishing, right?
Right. Well, they might stop you. If you were in California, they would.
But we're in Montana.
Right. So at what point
it's a state's issue. It's a state's issue.
Yes, definitely. And very few states are going full hog up.
If they
bringing it back to pigs, going full hog on it, like Texas is, or not Texas. New York is doing it. California is doing it. Those guys, yeah. But Montana, it might be one of the last places to do it.
Well,
if they ever.
There's still 13 states that haven't even issued stay-at-home orders.
At all?
At all.
Really?
So there's that. Montana has shut down all group sites.
Up to 10 people, right?
No, just all group sites are closed, restrooms are closed.
But you're not supposed to do anything up to 10 people.
Yeah, but
10 people or more.
Yeah, you're not supposed to, but in accordance with that, they've closed all group areas, parking lots are kind of closed, I think. Ramps have been closed at Canyon Ferry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you can't even get on the water and
they've closed. They've blocked shit off,
Right. So that stops fishing right there.
To an extent on some spots.
A lot of boating. Stops a lot of boating.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to stop, They're trying
Which
to stop
is interesting because you should stop bank fishermen or women. I don't know how to say that, but it doesn't matter.
It's
because they're a lot more congregated. If you're on a boat, you're miles down the river.
Yeah, but you can also pack people in your boat and stuff. Yeah. And people hang out at boat ramps and so I don't know. It's one of those things. But yeah, they've shut that down. They've canceled. Then they haven't canceled. They canceled the Tough Guy walleye tournament up in Jordan, out of Hell Creek. That was canceled this year, which sucks. Cody and I were going to fish that. They postponed Crooked Creek. And if this restriction goes into June, they'll have to postpone the entire circuit. So.
Yeah. Well, they cut down. They shut down everything. Disc golf. They've shut down all tournaments until end of May or something like that for now. No, I think end of April. which
No,
is
May.
April.
April
disc golf.
30th. April 30th, yeah.
Disc golf, they said April 30th, yeah. But that's, I mean, you're allowed to, but you're not allowed to even run a tournament right now.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, you can't even do anything.
Because you can't have more than 10 people. The only way you'd be able to do it is if, say you had 60 people to show up for a tournament, you have 10 people show up this hour, and you send them out. 9 people, and then 9 people show up this hour, an hour later, and send them out or something.
And you wouldn't even have 60 people show up.
No, you wouldn't have 60 people.
Because people are, it's a stay-at-home thing, I don't know. They canceled March Madness, Like,
Dude, I need more of that. Might as well just do it now. So, real quick. I don't know who's watching, but I have this sitting there. Might as well just... Do you know how to do this? This? It's really simple. You take a bucket of water that this will be able to dunk completely into. So we've done elk antlers, so you need a big bucket for an elk antler because you need to completely dunk it into the bucket of water. So this one was a smaller bucket. You don't need as much. You fill the water almost all the way so that when you dunk this in, the water doesn't overflow, just enough to where it's not going to overflow. So you fill it up with water, I don't know, whatever, just enough to where this can go submerge all the way to where you need it to right here. You don't want to go all the way onto the antlers, obviously. But you also don't want the water to overflow over the bucket, so it needs to be perfectly balanced there. And then on the surface of the water, you take spray paint and spray paint a whole bunch of layers. So you have a red layer, spray paint a whole big glob of it right in the center. Spray paint the water.
It's spray paint?
The water, yeah. So the spray paint will sit on top of the water, right? And then you spray paint your white. Then you spray paint more red. Then you spray paint black. Then you just go back and forth, whatever colors you want. Throw a layer of green in there, something cool. And then what you're going to do is you tape up your antlers, whatever you don't want to be painted. You tape it up so it doesn't get painted. And you dip it in there nice and uniformly. And what will happen is the paint will want to adhere. As you're putting it in, the paint will go whoosh and suction to this thing as you're dipping it into the water. And get it to the top, separate the paint away, try to get the paint away from it so you're not going over top of what you've already created, and then pull it out. And that's what you'll create. It's really not that hard. It's pretty simple. We've done some really cool elk antlers. They look amazing. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know.
Dude, I'm impressed with this battery. Side note, I just bought 2 new batteries for that camera.
Yeah? You have another one?
11 of them. I got 4 total now. No, 5 total for that camera.
Oh, you're saying you're good, or are you saying you're going to change it?
No, it's good. It's only half used.
Oh, geez, really? Man, you changed those out halfway last time.
Well, granted, they were all dead last time.
Oh. So, do you want to know how to, not you, obviously, but this was very last minute what we did here. No soundproofing at all. Like, no professional soundproofing. But throwing in just simple couch cushions ends up working really well.
Well, I mean, you just gotta have a little bit of knowledge on
placement. Corners is a big one.
Just a little bit of sound design.
Things to break up the noise.
You didn't have any foam or anything, so
you gotta do something. So we hung up seat cushions in the corners, like actual chair kitchen cushions. And
it's ghetto as hell right now.
It's super ghetto,
but it works.
But it sounds good, and it's not in a video, so you can't even tell.
No, shout out Rush Wars Productions for that.
Love it.
Got the lighting set up flawlessly.
Rush, I wanted to talk about how you protect your ice hole.
Protect my ice hole?
So I heard the other day, I don't know if this is going to blow your mind, maybe you've heard this already, but if you're ice fishing, right, and you cut a hole in the ice, and you don't you leave that hole, you fish for a little bit, and then you leave that hole, and you don't it doesn't freeze over properly, somebody comes walking over and falls into that hole and they die, you can get charged with manslaughter. So, how do you protect your ice hole?
I mean, I don't break the law and drill a hole bigger than 12 inches.
And then also make sure it kind of freezes over before you leave.
I just pop a 10-inch hole and let her buck, dude.
Will you leave a hole completely
Yeah.
open? That could possibly, a kid could fall in that though.
Yeah,
Right.
but you're not gonna. I don't. Yeah, I mean that's why it's 10 inches though. You know, like I mean a 10-inch hole, you have to be like a toddler to fall through that and then go below the ice. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just.
Say it's.
But I don't mark you don't have to mark a hole that's below 12 inches. I think 12 inches is the max.
But marking it is different than if you leave it and
You have to mark
somebody
it, yeah.
falls into
If it's bigger than 12 inches, you have to mark it.
But even marking it, is that enough to knock it?
If you mark your hole and someone walks into it and falls through that hole and then dies, A, they're very stupid, and B,
but at the same time,
it
doesn't matter if they're stupid. You get charged.
No, if you mark your hole.
If you mark it.
What are you supposed to do?
But if you don't mark it,
nobody knows that was you, so it'd be almost impossible to find who drilled that hole.
But we're trying to teach good manners here.
No, true, yeah, but I mean, like, the chances of that happening are very, very low. People fall through holes. Like, if you can read comments on, like, the Montana fish forums and shit. People fall through, like, ice holes where, like, they carve it out in spear holes, you know? Which are, like, 40 inches big sometimes. But that's in an unmarked hole. It's against the law to do that. Like, it's in the fish wildlife guidelines. You can't do that. But
go make a
hole. Like, do you know
big.
how hard it is to like track down who drilled that hole?
For sure. But I just wanted to bring it up. I don't know if you've thought about it before.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a very rare instant.
But you also don't want to be charged with manslaughter.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're gonna drill a hole that big, like you're kind of required to mark it somewhere, you know?
Right.
And generally, if you have that much knowledge about spearfishing, cutting a hole that size in general, you probably are aware of the fact that you gotta like mark that hole.
Usually you'll be putting some sort of tent over it and then...
Well, like your average Joe doesn't just take a saw out there and cut a hole in the ice.
Yeah.
And then go, we're gonna sit here and just spear, you know?
Right. That's a whole thing.
You gotta have some serious motivation to go out there and cut a hole that big in the ice.
Which I want to do. At some point.
And see,
definitely
if you do, you probably open the guidelines and check the book, you know. And it just says that there's actually a few lakes where you can't do it, but there's a few lakes where you can. You just gotta mark it.
Right.
Which is just like a flag, you know.
Point being,
20 inches high.
Keep in mind that you can be charged with manslaughter if somebody dies in a hole that you create and you didn't mark it correctly. And you leave the hole that you created or something, and somebody walks over and dies in it. Just keep it in mind. Not you, maybe. Not you, maybe, but everybody. Yeah. Keep it in mind. I don't know. It's just it was kind of an interesting fact that I found. So we talked about your ice hole.
I've actually fallen through holes.
You fell through
holes? Like you just step in a hole, you know?
Oh, just your leg or something.
8-inch hole, and you just go, you know, thigh deep in it. Mm-hmm. Sucks.
So I think, oh man, oh yeah. Oh, we're just topping an hour right now. That's it. An hour and 1 minute.
Hour and 1 minute, huh?
Yeah. I thought we were a little longer than that.
I think that just turned off. I don't know. Recording.
Still going?
Yeah, she's going now.
So the walleye tournaments are postponed.
Crooked Creek is at least. That's the start of the Montana circuit. Gosh, that's a big tournament. It's a good bite too. That's a real good bite. That's a fun bite.
Doesn't mean you can't go fish it, but it just won't be.
I mean,
the tournament.
You're not supposed to go up to Fort Peck and Crooked Creek and fish it.
Oh really?
They're day use only, so you can't even like camp up there right now. I mean, you could. I don't think Slim would kick you out for being like, dude, I'm stuck here at I'm stuck here in the Bay. Like, I don't know. I gotta chill the night here. Like, yeah, camp it out or whatever. But
Yeah.
you're not supposed to. It's kind of, I don't know. They're issuing fines now for people blatantly ignoring the rule. So you can catch a fine for it.
Yeah.
Did you see in the Philippines, the dude issued a shoot at will order? He's like, if there's any violence, there's any threats against like officers or your life or whatever, shoot at will.
Really?
From the president. He was at his podium and he's like, I give them the order to shoot, you know?
Stay the fuck at home.
Well, you know, like if you're trying
Wow.
to like riot or like stir up some violence or whatever, like you're gonna catch some bullets your way real quick.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very powerful message.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they don't have 250,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases. I don't think anywhere in the world is testing like America is though.
Oh no.
You know, like
And if
it's
maybe,
funny because
maybe some places are, but they're not announcing it. Like China,
America is the one
announcing their
creating the
numbers.
tests. You know, nowhere else in the world is creating COVID-19 tests.
Yeah.
America.
Wait, I thought China was the one creating those.
I'm sure they created some tests.
I'm just hearing shit. Everything that I say is just
But
hearsay.
the
Right?
American
Hearsay?
the
Whatever.
American healthcare pharmaceutical system is
Like that phone. Must be 30-minute increments. Man, that's about right. 30 minutes. Is it good?
I don't know, you have to check it out.
Whatever. As long as it's going.
But yeah, I'm not even sure anyone else is getting the amount of tests America is, you know? Like, for instance, New York has, like, what? Almost 80,000 confirmed cases.
A lot.
Like, New York State alone is, like, the 5th most impacted country
Place.
in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I was hearing it might be affecting, which is not new, but it might be affecting certain blood types differently than other blood types to the point where I think it's like a blood type A is what they're saying was the one that is the one that gets the worst side effects. They'll get the fevers, they'll get the respiratory problems. And then other blood types aren't getting that, but they still carry it.
O positive is like the least.
That's what I was hearing that too.
It's the least like side affected blood type, which is me.
But they still carry it. So we could be carrying it right now, not show side effects, blow it out this window, a person walks by, gets it. That has A type, and a week from now, I might not have any battery. Or yeah, I think I'm out of memory. We're going off of that one. That one's just seeing you though.
Go to that one.
Oh, that one. Never mind. We're going to that one. I could just go grab a GoPro too, really quick. But
this should be good.
Yeah, we'll just use that. Audio's the one that matters. So, yeah. Everybody could be carrying it though, and spreading it to everybody, and just certain blood types are the ones that are.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're elderly, if you're compromised, or if you're perfectly healthy. It doesn't matter. Everybody's getting affected by this. It doesn't matter. So please take this seriously. Not you. Everybody.
Yeah, no, it is pretty serious. You know, like,
serious.
I mean, for the first time in our
just limit your conversations with certain people, and that's it for the next month at least.
I mean, it's gonna change the way we live our lives. You know, like people call us millennial. Like,
is it
on one of my videos? Someone was like, "This is the most millennial bullshit I've ever seen."
What?
You know, and I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right, but it's like, I mean, it's gonna change the way that we live. You know, like fundamentally change the way we live."
Yeah.
If you think about it, I mean, we're technically in hiding right now. You know, like, not really in hiding, but quarantine. You know, we're at stay-at-home. Like, I've never heard of a stay-at-home order in my entire life. Like, think about it. Like,
no, this is completely unprecedented.
and then if you look at the unemployment chart, it's like, you know, it looks weird. And then people are freaking out over 6.3 million people filing for unemployment. It's like, well, that's literally what the government told us to do. They told us to stay at home and then file for unemployment. You know? Like, it's going to shake up the world that we know it.
Completely. Yeah.
Like, shutting the world economy down for 14 days at the minimum. You know, like, Italy's been shut down for almost a month now. Like, shut down.
Yeah, you have to look at the lifestyle of Italy, Liam. Can't talk right now. The lifestyle of Italy, they're on top of each other. A lot of their places, they're so compact. You can see why it would spread so
they
like
do
New
a lot
York.
of,
New York's
you know,
kind of similar.
But they do a lot of, like, kissing and, like...
Yeah, and their lifestyle. They're very
touching,
on top of each other.
yeah.
Yeah, very on top of each other.
But, and they're, you know, I think Dr. Burke, the female who does the coronavirus updates with the president, she was talking about how, you know, Italy just does not have the hospital space or the hospital equipment to even keep up with half as many of their patients that they have, you know. Which is kind of a fascinating stat. And she said that America had like 5 to 10 times as many respirators, ventilators, and masks than the entire rest of the world. You know, and she was like, well, there's your comparison of, like, readiness, you know.
Yeah.
We had, like, 10 times as much as Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what do you guys want from us? You know, like, we were literally...
There were a lot more people.
You know, and it's not like we could have called this novel coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like, how many respirators does your average hospital usually use?
Right.
Not many.
Most hospitals don't have a backup supply of a lot of shit.
No.
They're banking on the chain to get them their stuff every month.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have a backup of shit.
They have
when that chain
they have
gets
a
shut
supply,
down,
you know?
not a lot though. Not enough to support a whole country in need.
No one does.
No one does.
No one. It's kind of ridiculous to think.
Do you think we will now though? I doubt it.
I mean, I think we'll have probably 10 times more than what we started with.
But for what?
At the end of it.
But for what? For this? Yeah. But we didn't see this shit coming.
No.
Not this exactly.
6
So
months
what's
ago.
next?
6 months ago, you could have been like, President Trump, why are you not getting prepared for coronavirus? You know,
For this respiratory illness. Why are you not getting ready?
Russia just shut their stuff down.
Exactly.
You know, like as of like 3 or 4 days ago. So it's like people are on Trump. Why didn't you get more prepared? We were, I don't know. Nobody heard of COVID-19 6 months ago.
Nobody. Cool. All right, just
Like, I didn't hear of it 3 months ago. The first I heard of it was March 17th.
It was here
when I got back to Montana from Nevada.
It was here in December.
Yeah, dude. My dad got it in January. My whole brother's house got it in January.
People were... Big people, higher ups, were having meetings about it mid-January.
Oh, yeah.
About what to do, and then they sold all their fucking stock after they had that meeting. A bunch of senators.
Yeah.
So, that's the world we live in, Rush.
I'm still going fishing.
Yellowstone's still about to erupt.
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard much about that.
No, don't hear about that at all. Don't hear about Ebola. You don't hear about anything other than Corona right now.
No, you don't.
Anything.
Yeah. That's on the news.
Do you have enough TP? You supplied.
I got one roll.
You got one roll left.
Came from my girlfriend too.
Don't worry.
She actually brought me 2 rolls.
Don't worry.
Two.
Dude,
I haven't seen toilet paper on the shelves in a month. Month and a half almost.
I might be able to get one from you. For you. My sister has a whole bunch. I might be able to get one for you. Maybe 2.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, can I steal some toilet paper from you?
The girls are like, we got a hoarder.
Just throw it down the steps. I'll grab it real quick.
I'll stay my distance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Man. So, what's next to be posted for you?
Tuesday and Thursday are going to be Montana Ice Tour. Vidges. And then, yeah, we're just going to get through the Montana Ice Tour. That's a lot of editing. I mean, people don't realize how much editing that is. Like, every episode's about 35 hours.
It's a lot.
Of just editing.
It's a lot, dude. It's exhausting.
Not counting the 7 days that I spent out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, each day, you know, that's 10 hours of filming. Which turns into, like, you know...
And it's funny how...
6 to 8 hours on your timeline. Once you bring it all in to the computer, you got, like, 6 hours of footage. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's a lot of footage.
It's a lot of footage that you have to go through, figure out what you want to keep, what you don't want to keep, and then you want to splice things together, and you know, put this part here, but then you're also making a little eye catcher at the beginning, so you're splicing in a little bit here, but then you're also putting the main part over here, and you're having...
Dude, it's a crazy little puzzle work, you know? Like, it's...
There's a lot.
There's a whole workflow to it, you know? Like, and it's just taking me... I'm still establishing my workflow, you know? Like, how I pick apart each video, like, what are my steps? I mean, there's a whole, you know, the first 15 hours is just, like, cutting fat. Yep. Especially on a video that you want to, like...
Which can get exhausting, and you're sitting there halfway through like, what the fuck am I doing, man?
Dude, it happens all the time, man. Like, and that's why you need to focus on, like, 60 to 90 minute focus periods.
A little bit here, a little bit there. Go take a walk. Go take a shower.
Well, you need to know that, like, after 2 hours, you need to put your shit down, and you just need to take your eyes off the computer screen.
Change it up.
Way too many times I'll just be working, all of a sudden I'll just be, like, out of it. Like,
and it's amazing how you take 5 minutes doing something else, you come back, and you're good to go for another hour and a half, 2 hours.
I mean, my attention span is just like the average person. But, like, when I'm focused, I can do 60 to 90 minutes of focused work. And in that 90 to 60 minutes, I can get, like, 4 hours worth of work done, you know? Because I'm fast, I'm focused, I'm in it, you know?
Right.
But each video takes, you know, 25 to 35 hours. A whole week's, like, 35 hours. You tell that to the average person, and they go, what? It's like 35 hours. I just worked that, you know? And it's like, yeah. Find the time.
And you're working on 2 videos at the same time, right?
Sometimes 3 or 4, you know?
Right, exactly.
You gotta keep your interest. Like,
exactly.
Like, oh, I've done enough on this video, like...
And that could also be just a change in pace, too. Just change up the video you're working on. Sometimes.
Well,
depending on what you're doing in that video. And what portion, what step you're at.
You know, and a lot of it depends on, like, your creative mood, you know? Like, if you're in the mood to really get down on some edits... Like, and like, get creative. Because, like, if you look at the same clip 5 times when you're not creative, you're just going to, like, scrub through it and then, like, look at it again and scrub through it and look at it again. But if you're, like, creatively thinking about that clip and, like, how can I make this clip creative, you're going to make the clip creative. Like, you're going to add a sweet transition. You're going to do a cool zoom. Throw a dolly zoom in there, like, post-edit, you know. Throw a color grade in. You're just going to get creative with that, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I was actually just talking to my girlfriend about this. Like, I can't just, like, wake up and, like, do it, you know? No. Like, I have to be like, okay, now I'm in the zone. Yeah. Like, that's my creative flow. And then you have to worry about extending that creative flow for an extended amount of time. And that's that 90-minute period. And it takes about 20 minutes to even get into that flow,
just
you know?
set up a little bit.
So you got to kind of...
coffee.
It's like a basketball player getting warmed up, you know? It's like he's there 3 hours early. He's got his headphones in. He changes into his warm-ups, you know? And he goes out, does a few layups, shoots a few free throws, goes back in the locker room.
And then he sits and relaxes.
Chills, thinks about it. He's got his headphones in. Comes back out, does another little pregame warm-up. And then the game starts, you know?
And then there's a point where he's just like... Shirt off. Here we go.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We're into it.
And then
we're going.
And then you're playing.
We're going.
Then you're focused on that.
It's game time.
And I'm so freaking ADD that, like, I have to really concentrate on, like, now we're gonna, like, work, but we have to, like, get into work. And I usually start watching some YouTube videos. That's how I start every session. Is I start I go to YouTube. I go, you know, Guggen Squad, John B, Uncut Angling, Jay Seamus, and then I start my edit. You know, that's how she goes. Because you got to kind of get like, oh, how do I want to do this? You know, like how am I going to build this story? That's what every video is about, you know. It's about like designing a story. You gotta have a character. You gotta have a plot. You know, you gotta have the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
You gotta build it. So.
And it takes time to learn what people want to watch and what you want to do. You know, it takes time.
Yeah, like in your 7 videos, what have you learned?
There's such a learning curve. Such a upward learning curve when you're doing your first videos, and then I took a massive break, so I'm not in that headspace anymore. I'm gonna be getting back into it, but what I learned that it takes a lot more time than you'd think it would, and if you don't have the patience for that, you need to figure out a different style of videos.
Yeah.
Doing our adventure videos that we're doing, it takes a ton of time to edit those, man. It's not simple.
No, dude.
It's not simple.
I was talking to Cody in college.
Like you watch those videos and you're like, cool, just another video.
Yeah.
No, that's hundreds and hundreds of little tiny splices and effects and transitions and text and things to make this one little simple 10-minute thing where you go, cool video.
Cool video, dude.
Right, just cool video. Good job. No, that was a lot of fucking work, man.
and like those videos are just like, you know, a quarter of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I look at it, I like, bet you're just like...
If you look at the timeline of a video that you can't
yeah.
decipher a specific video portion because there's so many lined up. It looks like a rainbow that goes about 1,000 long. You know, yeah. It's just there's so many clips that make up one video. It's not simple.
Yeah, you know, and it's like you can check my YouTube upload status, and it's like I had a period there where I didn't upload for like 6 months. You know, because I made a video about this. Like, dude, I almost quit.
It's hard to keep going
because I tried to do the first Yellowstone River video. Took me like 5.5 months to edit. I would upload it to the GoPro.
Your very first video, or just the first
Yellowstone? No, the first Yellowstone like river video, like the
why that one specifically?
The camping one, because it just took forever. Like I would upload the video, all the footage to the GoPro software. I would start editing.
Oh, that's the one that kept crashing.
And then it would crash. And then I had to start the project all over.
Right.
And then it would crash again.
And
I go, why is this crashing on me? And then I would upload it again for the 3rd time, and then it would crash and nothing would work. And I go, something is wrong, you know? And it's like, I'm way too frustrated and upset to like
try to
solve this problem out.
Yep.
But I know it's just
easier to quit than to figure out what the problem is.
Well, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I can't do this, but I'm being like restricted.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I just don't think I can do this anymore. You know? Like, I just don't think I can do this. I don't know. And then you come back to it because you, like, want to do it. And then you figure it out.
After the break?
Because you have... Yeah, because, like, you have to, like, figure it out to, like, make a video. And then the way that I figured it out was, like, I couldn't make the whole video because my computer couldn't handle it. So I had to cut the video in half. That's why there's 2 episodes. Like, 1 and 2. And then I could actually do it that way. But, like... I mean, it took like 5 months to figure it out for 1 video, for 2 videos, I guess. But it was like, now I can make a video, you know, I can go in my basement, film a video, upload it, optimize it, from thinking of it, to scripting it, to shooting it, filming it, to editing it, posting it, optimizing it, 4 hours. Some videos.
That's pretty fucking impressive.
4 hours.
That's
some
impressive,
videos,
man.
You know.
How much scripting? Like, when you say scripting...
Depends on the video.
Yeah. I've never done any scripting. The only scripting I'll do is, like, write a list of stuff during our podcast. Just to... If we run out of something to talk about. Hey, how's your ice hole?
It depends on the video you're trying to make, you know? Like, if you want to make... if you're making a fishing video, then you gotta just go out and do it, you know. But like if you're doing like, people ask me about like review videos. If you're doing a review on like this knife,
my dog is hanging out with us.
you have to like write a script on it.
Right. I've never done something like that.
Right? Like if I'm doing a product review on anything, like my cell phone or, you know, like a fishing pole or a reel or anything, like you have to write a script. You know, it's like an essay. Like you have to write an essay about it, just so you understand what you're saying, and like you have a framework of what you want to say.
Right.
Like, you have to write a script, and,
Yeah,
and people don't get that. You know, like I tell people to like write a script.
Now, if I was doing a review on a cooler, like your videos or a knife or something, definitely I'd write something out.
Well, see, and it's like people think like script. Oh, you're scripting this. It's all like written. No,
those
you
they're
script
facts.
it.
You need to state the facts correctly.
Well, it's just like, okay, if you don't write a script and you just press play on your camera and just start, yeah, you can make a video. But like, if you were to write it down and understand what you want to do, like write an essay before you make a video.
Don't say script.
What's script?
Say a written structure.
No, I mean script as in like some videos are totally scripted. Like,
yeah,
just because you
see,
need
that's where you're losing people though.
No, that's where you retain them. Because you
No,
write
no, I'm saying like by saying that it's scripted, you lose some people.
Well, no, like, I mean, if scripted as like, you know, like this is my structure. Like this is what I'm gonna say first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. That's how I'm gonna wrap it up. That's a script of the video, you know, and I go by that framework.
Right.
No matter how many takes it takes, whatever. Like that's how I scripted the video. You know, some videos they're unscripted, for sure. You know, like these videos, the rod reviews scripted, to a point. You know, like to make a good product review. Like a good, informative, knowledgeable review, you have to study what you're talking about.
Definitely.
You have to understand what you're talking about, and then you have to have like, you know.
I'm just saying that
you have to make it.
You were just admitting that some people go, "Oh, it's scripted."
Yeah.
I'm just saying you're going to lose some people by saying it's scripted.
Some videos.
Some people.
But like the way that I film it, the way that I shoot it, it looks like it's not scripted.
So all I'm saying is there a better term that you can use instead of saying scripted?
Because like I think of the idea
structured.
It's all truthful information.
It's not scripted. Would be more. This is what you're supposed to say, word for word. Boom. Here's the script. Structure is a list of things, and you're going to kind of stay in these parameters.
I script my shit.
You say word for word what you have on the paper.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, it's the way that I write it out. It's the way that I think of the video. Like certain videos, I think of it,
and then I immediately
write it all down. You know,
I'm just curious.
Like when you write it down, then that's a script.
But
when you write paragraph, when you write 6 paragraphs and then say that paragraph to the camera,
exactly word for word, that's a script.
Yeah.
But if you have a list of things and you have like a couple words here and a couple words here and a couple words here, and you're gonna gotta go on topic about this thing, and then go on topic about this thing.
Yeah.
It's not a script.
But see, I mean, for instance,
it's more of a list.
Just to make a valid point, I've done that,
which is fine.
And during the video, you take an extra 35, 45 minutes because you're redoing every take.
Yep.
You can take 30 minutes off your script, off your video, if you write it down.
Good point.
Like what I want to say word for word.
Yep.
And because then you go press play on the camera, and then you go...
There's no trial and error.
Okay, here's what I want to say.
You figure it all out beforehand.
Well, I mean, I end up writing actually 2 scripts. I write a rough draft, and then I actually write an essay, like strictly essay format, right? An intro, body, conclusion. Just press play.
Love it. I love it, dude.
That's my script. It's an essay. Each
video
video is an essay.
Like
because, I mean, I can write a pretty good essay, but when you're writing a video, like, the viewer wants to know the intro. What are we talking about? And then back your shit up. Why are we talking about this? And then the conclusion. Restate the intro in a different fashion. Mm-hmm. Okay, now make your video. You know, like that's a good video. A good video is a good essay. And a good essay is an even better video. So when you rough draft your essay and you go, okay, all right, now I know what I'm kind of talking about, then you make your video. Your video is just that much better.
Right. And
Because
you see that. You see that
after 4 years of like looking at myself on camera, I go, oh, next take, you know, like once you start editing like your 10th and 11th take, you're like, this is too much. Like,
tired of this.
How can I wrap this whole thing up quicker?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write it out.
That's kind of why I'm a fan of going out hunting and fishing, and you only have one take.
But see, that's part of the whole creative mentality, right?
It's
like
the creative thing.
Like,
it's
if I told you,
well, this was in the moment, and this is what it is. You like it or you don't.
See, here's the thing about creative, right? Can you make a video about nothing?
Yes.
Can you?
Fuck yeah, you can.
Well, you can say that, but can you actually create
a
video about nothing?
Create a video of nothing. What does that even mean, though?
See, there you go. Tyler Babin made a video about it. We can link that in the link below. You know, it's
create a video of nothing because
in your house.
Everything is something.
If I told you to create a video about nothing with only the things that are inside the walls of your house, could you do it?
No, because everything is something.
You just answered the question. I could say yes, 100% positively. Give me 20 minutes to write a script and I'll make a video about it, you know?
But it's not nothing. You can't define it as nothing because everything is something.
Literally nothing. Dark matter.
If you want to create a video out of nothing, it'll be no audio, no video, white screen for 10 minutes. That's nothing.
Link below, Tyler Babin's video.
You want to see nothing? Don't talk for like 10 seconds.
That's the point though, right? Like the whole creative thing, you know, is making a video out of nothing.
I want to see this video. What you're talking about? No, we're not doing it right now.
You can watch it on your phone right now.
We'll do podcast number 3. We'll talk about this. Podcast number 3. No, we need to leave them hanging. We're almost at an hour and 30 minutes anyways.
I'm going to let you watch the video.
We're at an hour and 21 minutes. We have 1 more minute to go. Let's just do 1 more minute, and then we'll call the podcast.
All right. But yeah, no, I mean, like, that's the creative spirit, you know, is like being able to go, oh, I got an idea, now I'm going to run with that idea. And it starts with your notebook and a pencil.
Yep.
And an idea.
But that's not nothing. That's not nothing.
You're literally starting with nothing.
You're not. You're starting with a notebook and a pencil.
You're starting with your brain, a nothing space, and then an idea pops
That's something right there.
Well, okay, you're starting with nothing, though, right?
Not really.
Like... Because
nothing is not even possible.
Okay, well, name a video where you started from something.
Every
one of my videos started from absolutely nothing.
Every video that I've started from something, which is an idea, which is something. That's something. An idea is something.
No, it is, but like it comes from nothing, you know.
Where does consciousness come from?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to come from somewhere.
That's above my pay grade.
That is a big topic.
What I'm talking about strictly the creative. You know, like to be able to take a creative thought and transform it into something. That's what I'm talking about. A creative thought is nothing. An idea is just nothing. Until you take it and transform it into something.
I don't agree that...
That's how I think about it. And
an idea is nothing, because I think
it's just stuff. In essence, it's dark matter, right? An idea is just dark matter, is all that is. Because it's nothing.
I don't know about that, because...
It's nothing. Think about it.
I guess
like,
I can
what is an idea? You can't touch it. You can't feel it.
Most animals in this world don't have a creative aspect to their mind like humans do. So where does that come from?
I would actually...
Most. I said most.
Yeah. Okay. Most, not all.
I didn't say all.
Not all. Not all. No. But like, you have to take that nothing, that random... nothing, and you have to transform that into something, right? And that's exactly what Babin talks about in his video. Nothing. I heard recently that consciousness could possibly be and this is, dude, I am so dumb. Don't listen to me. I'm so dumb. But in a way, it could be the connection, the electrical or something connection between electrons and all atoms of some sort.
And if that's the case, then it's an actual entity, right? Consciousness, thought, is an actual entity of some sort. It's the combination of atoms. I don't even know, dude. I don't know.
No,
but
yeah,
if that's a thing, then you creating a video is not from nothing. It's from somewhere. It's
consciousness
from
isn't anything though. It's just it's nothing.
Like you just said, it's above your pay grade though.
Yeah, but this is something. My phone is something.
Yeah, because you know it. Like,
so, when I say you got to take something from nothing to something, you have to take a thought, which is in my mind nothing, which you can't see it, you can't do anything with it. You have to take it and you have to put it on
200 years
paper.
ago,
Then it's something, right?
We didn't know electrons and neutrons 200 years ago. Mm-hmm. That wasn't anything. That was nothing to us at that point, right? How can you say that consciousness isn't something?
Okay, here's for instance, someone steals your idea. Oh, I thought of that. Whose idea is it? If you came up with Uber 20 years ago, but someone else developed it and created it and made it Uber.
The only difference there is action. That's the only difference.
Action
but
creates something.
There's still an entity of thought between the two of you. Time is different.
Yeah.
And action is different. But you still had you had the same thought. That's not different.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that doesn't make something into... That doesn't take nothing to something, though. Thought is just thought. Action takes nothing and creates it into something.
But thought is still something.
No. I would argue otherwise.
Dude, I want to know way more about this.
Because what is...
This is a really big topic.
Where does thought get you?
We're so dumb we make it sound so simple, but this is a big topic. This is a big topic.
No, it is. It is. But like, thought only takes you so far. And I think any... Like, you talk to Mark Cuban or like any billionaire or anything like that. Like,
action is what really only matters. But you can't argue
that's what takes nothing.
That's what matters.
That's for sure. That's the bridge.
But thought is that seed. Thought is a seed, and sometimes if a seed doesn't get watered right and it doesn't have the right nutrients, it won't grow. But then it might get frozen, right? It might get frozen, and thousands of years later get defrosted and have the right nutrients and that right now water, and then grow. But it was always a seed.
It takes something to make
it was
nothing something. But it was nothing.
But seed is still a something.
Nothing. It's nothing. Dirt is just dirt.
We're talking
it's
about
nothing,
this more. We're going to talk about this
dirt
more.
Is just dirt.
Dirt is dirt. It
something. Takes sunlight. It takes action to transform that, right?
Dirt's not going to transform. It's the seed that transforms.
It takes sunlight to transform that seed, right, into something. Action is that sunlight that transforms it. You have to have something that transforms that into something.
For sure.
To bring it to fruition.
But arguing that seed is not anything?
It's not anything. It's not anything until you make it something.
I get where you're coming from, but it's not true. I see what you're saying. I really do. But it's action's what matters. Action's what matters.
Yeah, but like, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it actually exists.
But I have a list of thoughts. They're all thoughts, dude. I have thoughts all over here.
They're nothing.
Not yet.
That's my point.
Not yet.
They're nothing.
Not yet.
Nothing.
But it was me.
And they'll never become anything.
Thinking of that and writing it down allows that seed to build and build and build until the right nutrients hit it.
But
it's still something.
Yeah, but it's valueless though. It's valueless until...
That's not true. That's not true, dude. That's not valueless at all.
Until some value...
You just called my notebook valueless.
I got a whole notebook full of stuff. It's valueless.
We just ran a podcast.
It's valueless
off of my notebook.
In blind eyes.
We just ran a podcast off of a piece of paper. Off of what I wrote down.
Yeah.
And our conversation.
Action. We're talking about action.
Action.
Right? So there you go.
Action.
Those would all be worthless and valueless without action.
Without action. But once you put action on it, then this is one of the most valuable things in the world.
Takes nothing and put it into something.
But this is one of the most valuable things in the world is putting your thoughts on a piece of paper so that you don't forget them for later and you take action.
That's what I'm talking about. That's where it starts. That's where it starts.
But it's almost more valuable this is than the action after you take the action.
So that's a script, you know.
Kind of.
To bring it full circle.
Kind of.
Scripts are nice.
If I literally just stayed 100% to this, I could see that.
It's not a Hollywood script, right? It's not like it's a Hollywood script.
I guess
right?
you
They're
do
different.
have that
They're obviously different,
unscripted.
you know. But it's scripted.
It's like half scripted.
Like you formatted it, scripted it.
Dude, I love
Yay,
our
nay,
conversations.
you
These
know.
are good times, man. I love it.
Well, I've done it before too. And that's how I do it.
It's good shit.
Especially
Well,
on
I
a
ran
video.
out of stuff to talk about.
Especially
man.
on a video where it's like I don't, like I have to like formulate something. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, do you want to end this?
Yeah.
We'll just end it real quick.
I
Back
gotta
it.
take this.
All right, we're gonna pause while Rush is taking a piss.
I was like chat him up.
I gotta take a piss too. So let's make him talk to the camera when he gets back out. So this is the last thing I had written down, and I was I'm not sure if I wanted to bring it up or not, but man, I've just been noticing sitting at home, not doing a lot, not being able to go outside as much as I want to, as much as I'm used to. I've noticed a lot of white noises, the furnace being on, the fridge running, that kind of stuff. Maybe my stuff is just breaking down on me, but maybe not. I don't know. I went to town. Get out of here. I'm having fun.
Sorry.
Talking about how with maybe it's not the situation we're in, but hey, Rocco, we're almost done. We're almost done. But with chilling at home, not being able to get outside as much as I used to, as much as I want, kind of just been noticing more white noises around, like the fridge running and stuff like that, and just I don't know, kind of freaking me out. Is that? It's one of those. I need to get out more and reset. Time's weird right now.
I mean, at the same time, it's nice to spend time with your family. And does it like?
Yeah. My sister.
No, but like if you're a husband and wife and like with kids and shit,
Yeah, no, for sure.
it's nice to be able to like spend time with your family.
Yeah,
and
I'm
stuff.
fucked. I'm scared to go
Yeah.
see my parents because I don't know. I need to find out what each family member has for a blood type. And that's a weird thing.
I don't give a shit what my family is for blood types.
You're gonna go and just infect your parents?
I'm not gonna go infect anyone. I'm saying to my ass, no.
Exactly.
I can call.
So
I can call and FaceTime.
You
I
can't
desire.
hang out with your family as much as you would want to right now. Maybe. I can't.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like a family that like lives together.
Yes. Yes. All right. You talk to the camera for a minute. I gotta take a piss.
Yeah, staying at home is nice. I don't know. It's more time for me to work on my website, work on me, work on my stuff. Like you can find things around the house that keep you busy. Yeah, I can actually be busier.
Who you talking to?
I should be busier. Like,
Getting outside?
no, like doing more work on my computer.
Yeah. Dude, it's been killing me.
Like I don't know why I'm not editing like right now. I should be.
Well, we're doing stuff right now.
Whenever I subtitle a video, it takes forever.
It takes forever, man.
I could be like, dude, I'm 30 minutes out from this video. 2.5 hours later, I'm like, oh, I'm still got an hour left.
Yep.
Because I decided to add text and captions because
Yep.
audio is so trash.
Yep. Exactly.
It's like, son of a bitch. But like,
when there's
in the
wind
end,
and you're using GoPros,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to.
even halfway through an edit, I'll like go to my notebook and be like, all right, what is this? What's going on with this video? And like, I'll write a brand new like timeline for the video. Like, what's coming next? Like, color grade, sound design. Like, we still gotta formulate a story for this video, you know? Like, I mean, I'm constantly, like, formulating stories for the video.
Mm-hmm.
Quarter way done, halfway done. You know, it's constantly getting revised.
Yeah.
In the notebook, you know?
Yeah. Well, I say we wrap this up here. But, yeah. It's a fucking great time, man. I love talking to you. Podcast number 2. More to come.
From more to come. Maybe even get one in the RVO studio.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get Rhonda in the background.
Oh,
Yeah.
they go cray.
Yeah. Cool, man. All right. Rush Voorhis.
Or I can end it for you.
You end it. Let's end it.
You
Let's
want me
end
to
it
end
together.
this?
I'll end it for you. You end it for me. Rush Voorhis Productions. Hit them up. Facebook. Twitter? You on Twitter?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Holonis. I'm really out there everywhere. You type me in Google, you're going to find me. Rush Force Outdoors, Rush Force Productions, RVP. I got my own website. Link will be in the description below. You guys are the best. Thanks for following us. Thanks
Love
for
you.
watching, guys.
See you guys.